afternoon, everybody. Edward Leos here, publisher of the Hotel Guide and your host for Travel Talk. I'm really excited about today's episode. We've got a little bit of wine, a little bit of AI, and seeing how you kind of combine those two. And I got two incredible guests here, Matthew and Angel, who are going to tell us a little bit about their company and what's going on in their world. And like I do every episode, guys, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I'm really happy to be with you.
No, it's going to be a fun episode. It's going to be quick, but it's going to be informative. I'm excited for our guests. So we talked a little bit about what we were going to be chatting about now, but why don't you give us some background on each of you on like how you came to where you are with the company, and then we can talk a little bit about Vino Voss and what's going on in that world as well. So how about we start with you, Angel, and then we'll have Matthew kind of give us a brief background and where we are now.
Sure. So my background is in math and software engineering. I was working as a network engineer at Cisco for more than 12 years and had a couple of startups. And late career, I decided to go back to school and do another master's degree in data science at UC Berkeley. And that's how the idea of Vino Voss started.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
There's some high tech degrees right there. I'm a communication arts guy, so I'm the creative kind of guy. Matthew, how about yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you kind of got to Vino Voss.
Well, I think for all of your listeners who are wondering about my accent, I was born in Melbourne, Australia. My mother's from Salem, Massachusetts, and I've been living in London, England for the past 16 years.
Wow.
So if people were wondering where it's from, it's a bit of a melting pot of different influences. So I worked in restaurants when I was a linguistics student. Then I moved to the UK, where I worked in wine education and procurement for restaurant groups. And Vino Voss and AI was the chance for me to go back to some of my linguistic roots and use my wine knowledge in a different direction. So it's been a lot of fun for me and quite a journey.
No, that sounds exciting. I love the backgrounds that each of you have and how it's so unique and how you could kind of combine it. So guests are probably wondering, what is Vino Voss? You know, what is that? So how about you guys tell us a little bit about the company, what is so unique about it, and why you're so excited about it?
Sure, I can go ahead and start. So Vino Voss basically was the master thesis for when I was at UC Berkeley. We started that thinking with AI, this should be a simple solution. We can solve it. And here you are, more than 2 years later, we're still working on it. So to me, this company started out of really desire to make the wine selection simpler for consumers, and especially for not wine expert, like people that are like beginners. It was a very difficult subject. If you don't know the wine terms and everything, wine could actually be quite intimidating. If you don't speak the language, you don't know the terms. And I was always thinking how we can make this process simpler for people that are not experts. And then how we can basically use AI to leverage that, make that process simpler. And wine domain is extremely complicated, as when we started, because of the subjectivity of it, makes everything very complicated. All these different varietal regions, taste profiles, food pairing, and all this data. How can we use that to make it easier for consumers?
Yeah, it does sound absolutely amazing when I was finding out and learning a little bit about it. Matthew, you have any insight in reference to Vino Voss and maybe your take on why this is something that's even maybe needed by people?
Please try again.
What I love about it so much is I have to admit that my own capacity to remember things is limited. Even as someone who's worked as a sommelier, there are great varieties that I don't know. There are things that I've forgotten about. Everything's in the Vino Voss system. It doesn't go anywhere. And the system doesn't have any biases. So it's just working for the consumer to find them the things that best suit them from whatever's available and close to them, which I think is brilliant. It's all the good side of me with none of my faults.
Well, it's actually amazing because what you're doing, and I love what Angel said, making it simpler. And I think people nowadays are wanting things that make things simpler. I'm a leadership coach as well, so when I talk to my clients, I always talk about how can we eliminate hurdles in your life or your business to make things easier. And this right here is a great way of eliminating hurdles and getting that experience a little easier done. So, walk me through the process of somebody who's like, "Hey, I'm just want to use this." What do they do? How does it happen? How does it work? Maybe a quick synopsis of how everything works with what you're doing.
Sure, I can give you a little bit background here. So going back to the search is the superpower of Vinovas, and currently all the search systems that you go, for example, on Google, or you want to search for something specific, or even for wine, when you search, you usually search based on title, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the title of the wine. But what if I don't know the name of those wines? I don't know any wine terms, but I'm looking for something. Let's say the wine, like just a conversational search,
Yep.
exactly like when you go shopping, you say, "Hi, I'm looking for a red wine from France that can go well with beef." And that's the search. And the system can technically analyze of that search term and then break it in smaller parts and understand it, comprehend it, and as we say, is understanding user intention. And based on that, can provide this search. That's what we put most of our time in it, to really understand. For example, when users says earthy, what does earthy really mean? It could be
Yeah.
mushroom, truffle, all of the things that can actually link to earthy. And when we started the company, it was me and my co-founder, a couple of AI researchers and software engineers. We had all this data in the internet, and we thought, like, by gathering this, we can solve it. But as soon we figured out, without participation of wine experts and sommeliers, there's no way we can solve this. And I'm a big believer that innovation happens at intersection. So we have a big team of wine experts that are really teaching us how the wine works, like really helping us to understand the algorithms and how these things can be connected together. It's been an amazing journey of personally understanding the domain of wine, how things are complicated, especially because wine is a very traditional market. And when we come together with wine experts, I think we can make something amazing happen and help everybody to make wine really more inclusive.
Yep. I think I agree with you on that, and I love how you're taking wine and turning it into just that emotional connection. It makes it easier for people to utilize even more. Matthew, any additional comments or takes in reference to what Vino Voss can do for clients?
Really, what it is helping people make the most of the free time that they have spent with the people they love most to get maximum enjoyment out of it by simplifying the nature of wine to a level where it's easy for them to interact with it, which is
Oh, I
pretty
love
much
that.
what everyone wants.
I love. I mean, I love how you simplify it. I love it more because you do it with your fantastic accent. So it's like it's amazing. So my guests are going to love just listening to you and seeing this as well. But now let's switch a little bit to the personal side, and we'll jump back before we get to the end. We'll talk a little bit about how to connect with you guys as well. But Matthew, tell me about some of your favorite travel destinations that you've been to so far in your life.
Well, I'll have to share something with you because I've actually achieved something today. So when it comes to wine, I'm a big fan of wines from the Northern Rhone, which is Syrah country.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a region called Hermitage, which is a small town in southern France, which has a very large hill where all the vineyards are. It has a 60-degree incline. And I'm there at the moment, coming to you live from Taylor Hermitage. I hiked up the hill today.
Wow,
There's a
wonderful.
little chapel at the top of it, which is quite well known. So I hiked up the hill. I survived the hike.
That's even better.
And I actually met a couple from Bridgeport, Connecticut at the top
Wow.
who remarked upon the Red Sox hat that I was wearing because my mother is from Boston. and they have pledged to sign up to Vinovos. So my parting message after sharing that travel story would be for all your listeners to do the same way, to sign up to Vinovos.
Perfect. No, we're definitely going to get to that, and I love that story. I'm a big Yankees fan, so but I still love having you on the show, so we're all good.
Nobody's perfect.
Angel, tell me a little bit about some of your favorite travel destinations that you've been to.
Sure. So recently, not very recent, last year, more than a year ago, with Vinovas wine expert, we decided to go to Bordeaux. Just imagine you with like 7 wine experts just exploring all these beautiful wineries. I think that was an amazing trip, which actually Matthew joined us as well. So that was very interesting, learning about all these different wineries and amazing work they do, and then just the science behind of making wine was just incredible. And being a computer geek recently, last month, I always wanted to go visit Estonia because I heard it's a very high-tech country, even though it's very small. And I went to Finland, I got a boat and went to Estonia, and it was very, very interesting. Everything just seamless happens electronically. Like you can pay taxes in 10 minutes electronically. You can marry less than 15 minutes electronically. Basically, just not much paperwork. They are extremely efficient. So it was a very interesting, super friendly people. I loved Estonia.
Perfect. Those are 2 great places. I mean, I love what both of you brought to the table with regards to the destinations. As we're wrapping up here, we got a couple of minutes here, but Matthew touched on it before about getting people to Vinovos, getting them to use the program and such. Why don't you guys tell me a little bit about what's the best way for people to find you and to participate with what you're using, with what you're doing?
Sure. I mean, we have an iOS app that is currently available. You can go and download Vinovos app, Vinovoss, and what they can sign up for Smart Sum application, which is basically you can have a conversation with a smart sommelier. That imagine you can talk to ChatGPT, but it's personalized for wine, so you can ask all the wine-related questions and wine products.
Okay. Is there any cost for Vinovos?
No, it's currently Vinovos is free for consumers. We want to connect with the wine community. We want everybody to use our app and tell us what can we do to make it better and easier to use.
Perfect. And then website. What's the website address for people to find you there as well?
It's called vinovos.com, and in 10 days we're going to have a new version that is going to have Smart Sum integrated with a Vinovos website, because currently we don't have Vinovos, the Smart Sum on it, but soon we will have it, and looking forward to get everybody's feedback and learn from the community.
Well, that's what you want. You definitely want to have that real world test subjects, if you will. So as we're wrapping up here, Matthew, why don't you give me any final thoughts or comments with regards to Vinovos, what you see for the future, what your hopes are for the future, and then I'll ask the same thing of Angel.
I think it's got a really great food and wine pairing engine, where if you've got a bottle of wine at home, or if you're looking at what you have in your fridge and you're saying, how do I bring things together to create an experience? It's a really useful tool that I think people could not only get a lot out of, but actually really enjoy using. So I'd suggest that people, when they do sign up, they spend some time investigating that.
Perfect. I definitely going to do that myself because I have got a bottle of wine. I want to figure out how to pair that with something properly, not just opening it up. So, Angel, final thoughts in reference to the company now, maybe where it's going, hopes. What do you think is on tap for you guys?
So the hope is actually bringing the wine community together and in a collaborative way that we can all learn from each other and have one place that you can teach each other different type of wines. My hope is getting to know more wineries and learn about the art that they're doing, making all these amazing wine, because making wine is an art, and just learning, and also what I really hope is just bringing up the wineries that not many people know about them, but they're making amazing wines, and people learn about their products and being on the market.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank both of you for being on the show today. As we talked prior to this, 15 minutes goes by really, really fast. But I know that there's such great things happening with the company. I can see you having you back on the show as well, but also being able to have our readers learn more about you in depth, maybe through our publication or the website as well. But thank you both, Matthew and Angel, for being on our show today.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's a pleasure. Go Yankees.
Great job, Matthew. Thank you. But again, to all our readers, listeners out there, continue to like, subscribe, follow us at thehotelguide.com. Some great information today with Vino Voss, something that's you're not seeing out there in the world, and they're combining of technology, and what better way than celebrating with a glass of wine as well. I'm excited to see the future of this company and where it's going, and I'm happy to have them on our podcast today. So, as I always like to say, travel, make memories, and until next time, take care.